You know, Dave, from time to time here on ATW and ATW Weekend Edition, we have the privilege of sharing the stories of some incredible individuals.
Which leads us into our next story. It's about Christopher Warner. Chris used to work for AMI Audio between 2006 and 2008, back when it was called VoicePrint.
And prior to that, in 2005, Chris went to the doctor for a shunt revision surgery. The operation is risky but necessary to alleviate symptoms of hydrocephalus, which in layman's terms is excess fluid on the brain.
When Chris woke up from the procedure, he was blind. He's since been documenting his experiences in his life and recently published a book called Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different. Chris sat down with Toronto host and presenter Anthony McLachlan in studio a short while back to talk about the book and lots more. Let's check it out.
Congratulations on the book, Christopher. Life's Not Over, It Just Looks Different is a great read, and I think at its heart it has a great message. But for those who maybe didn't get a copy for Christmas, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. So prior to 2005, I was fully sighted. I could see perfect color. And then in October 2005, I had to go in for an operation to treat a condition called hydrocephalus, which is water on the brain, and it's brain surgery. And when I went in for this surgery, something went wrong, and when I woke up from the surgery, I was not able to see anything more than light and shadows. And so then the book is about the progress that I made recovering some of my sight and the challenges that I faced in overcoming the sight loss that I still have, and how I've moved forward from that.
I think it's incredible that you're sharing these stories with people. Not everyone would be so candid. What made you want to write a book about your experiences?
The credit for the book actually goes to my wife, to be very honest, because it started out as something to do when I was recovering and waiting to see how much of my sight I might recover, because we weren't really sure. And she suggested, well, why don't you just start keeping notes, track what you're doing, write down your experiences, write down your thoughts, your feelings, that sort of thing. So it started out as a bit of a journal, to be honest. But yeah, my wife gets the biggest amount of the credit for getting this going.
You talk a lot about your experiences in the book, but the first one I want to touch on is the first job you had after you lost your sight. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so the first job that I had after the sight loss, I actually went to work for VoicePrint, which was AMI's predecessor, AMI Audio's predecessor. And it was an easy connection in the sense that I had been a volunteer reader for VoicePrint before losing my sight. And so I knew the staff, I knew the operation, and they were really great. They stayed in touch with me while I was recovering, and they kept tabs on me, checked in on my progress. And when they had a spot, the program manager came to me and said, you know, we have this opening for a studio producer. Would you like to come and join us? And I did the interview, and they hired me, and it was a great experience.
You already mentioned your wife, Cindy, and the relationship that you have with her really struck me in the book. Can you talk a little bit about how she motivated you and kept you positive throughout this emotional roller coaster?
Cindy has been absolutely amazing. She was the one who found the sight loss. She was the one who encouraged me to read the smaller fonts because the doctor said that might help my brain process things a little bit better. She has been my biggest cheerleader when she discovered that I was seeing colors a little bit better. Just all along the way, she's just been absolutely amazing. My biggest cheerleader, and also my fiercest protector. When I've had to go back to the hospital since then, because I've had 2 other surgeries since that one, she kept tabs on everything and made sure that the doctors were checking and doing what they needed to do, because she saw what happened in 2005 and she didn't want that to repeat.
She sounds like a wonderful lady, and support is very important, but you sort of stray away from support sometimes in other aspects, particularly with mobility. Mm-hmm. Throughout the book, you mentioned how you'll leave the white cane at home sometimes. Can you talk a little bit about that choice? The choice to leave the white cane at home was kind of 2 factors. One, it was to get that independence on my own, that I didn't feel that I really needed it all of the time. But it was also to the other factor, I suppose, in it was that my brother is actually legally blind as well. His has been from birth, and I thought, well, if he can do it, so can I. You know, he's the younger brother, so this time it was the older one trying to catch him and keep up with him.
And I thought, yeah, he does really well. I'm going to try it too.
I'm just curious about your relationship then towards now. How have things sort of changed between your relationship with your brother?
It's funny you asked that. So yeah, my brother is the middle of the three of us, and so he was always kind of the one chasing his two-sided siblings. Now, my younger sister, or our younger sister, actually feels a little bit left out because now my brother and I click on a different level that she can't relate to. So it has changed the family dynamic a little bit. But my brother was a big inspiration in helping me move forward, and like I said, my wife and my friends who've been around me have been absolutely amazing.
Well, you definitely had me, and I'm sure you will have other readers gripping at the pages. What do you hope that they get out of this?
I think the biggest thing that I want people to understand is that some kind of challenges do happen in life. I hope they don't. I mean, I hope that everybody has a nice, happy life and they don't have to face something like this. But stuff does happen. And it's all in how you want to approach it, how you want to tackle it, because it doesn't have to ruin your life. It doesn't have to end it. It's just going to change the path. And you just have to figure out what that new path looks like.
Well, the book is also out there, so what is next for you?
Right now, I'm working on getting it into bookstores. I have signed a contract with one of the chapter stores in the Calgary area, and I'm working with some of the others about getting into those stores as well. Other than that, the book is available online, either through my website at www.lifesnotover.ca or also through Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and some of the other online book retailers.
Well, thank you so much for dropping by, Christopher.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Molly, I've got to say, I was just so moved when Chris was talking about the relationship with his wife. The stories that he tells, he's just so honest in his portrayal of his experiences.
His fiercest protector, I think that is so sweet. I really wish more people in the blind and low vision community would be open and share their stories publicly to help educate society on the struggles and the successes that can come with vision loss.
If you at home would like to learn more about Chris or purchase his book, you can visit his website, lifesnotover.ca.